If you're struggling with menopause, weight gain, and blood sugar issues, this video might be for you.
I feel horrible. I'm constantly nauseous. I have horrible sharp pains in my stomach when I take it. And
Gosh, I know so many women who are struggling. We do the right things. We exercise, we eat right. We're still having high blood sugars, high weight gain. It's frustrating at this age. Many years ago, I was a personal trainer and fitness instructor, and I did that job for 15 years. So I'm very familiar with the importance of physical exercise and movement, not only to keep my body in shape, but also to help me prevent injuries, which happened to me last year. I broke a vertebrae in my back, which exacerbated a knee problem. That changed my whole routine because I could barely walk around my house. So I started doing things like aqua fitness and some gentle workouts to try to keep me toned up and still allow me to use my muscles. Gentle hiking eventually came into it, and of course, I always try to eat as healthy as possible. I have a garden in my backyard, which allows me to harvest my own vegetables and fruits, and this allows me to cook some really good, healthy meals for David and I. And we do that almost all the time, but we have that occasional time where we will have something like salsa, chips, or some sort of sweets that allow us to enjoy life a little bit. But what I was noticing was that my blood sugars were staying high. I couldn't get them to come down, so my doctor started me on metformin.
I feel horrible. I'm constantly nauseous. I have horrible sharp pains in my stomach when I take it, and I just have diarrhea like 3 times a day, and I just feel like it's not worth it. I'm like, I know I want to get my blood sugar down, but I just feel so horrible on this medication. I don't know what else to do. I'm trying to do everything right. I'm trying to eat right. I'm trying to exercise. But my blood sugar just won't go down.
So I gave my doctor a call and let her know how horrible I felt on metformin, and she agreed it was probably not for me, and we decided for me to try Ozempic to see if I could use that to help control my blood sugar. Okay, I am using my first dosage of Ozempic. I'm nervous. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little nervous about this because I took metformin earlier this year and I got really sick from it. Gosh, really bad nausea, incredible stomach pain, diarrhea 3 times a day. And after a week of that, I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this. I was feeling so horrible. So my doctor is trying to control my blood sugar, and they want me lipped here how to now try Ozempic to see if they can get my blood sugar down. That's mostly what it is trying to get my blood sugar down because my A1C was up pretty high. So I've got this whole set with instructions and my pen and needles. I did watch a couple videos on this to figure out how to use it. So let's get this started. 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, and then remove the needle. That was not bad at all. It didn't hurt. And take a dose next week. All right. Let's see how this works. Let's see if it makes me feel really yucky. I think that's my biggest fear is that I don't want to feel really yucky on this. So, all right, dose 1. Done. This is the lowest reading that I've had in months, so I'm really happy so far. That's dropping 50 points now. I did do a little bit of a morning workout routine at the counter before I did this, so I'm sure it used up some blood sugar, but I'm happy that it's going down. All right, this is going to be my first time back at the gym in just about a year. A little over a year ago, I fractured the L5 vertebrae in my back, and put me out of commission for a long time, and it exacerbated a knee problem, which kind of like compounded the fact that I just didn't want to work out. Everything was painful. So now I feel like I've gotten to a place where I'm not struggling with the pain as much, and I want to get back into the club and start doing some sort of resistance training. So this is one of my first days back, and I'm gonna just go. And for those of you who struggle going to the gym, I have, and I was a personal trainer. and a fitness instructor. So, and I struggle with it too. I know your pain. Just tell yourself, look, I'm just going to go to the club. I'm not going to tell myself what I have to do or how long I have to do it or anything like that. Just say I'm going to go. Maybe I'll just sit and stretch. I don't know, but I'm just trying to build that habit back up, that habit of going to the club, 2-3 days a week, whatever it is you want to get to. You might only spend 15 minutes there, but you might find that once you get there, you get a little bit more motivated to do something a little bit more than just sit there and stretch or just sit on the bike. So just get in the habit of getting yourself there. Don't tell yourself, I've got to be there for an hour. I've got to do such and such workout. If you struggle with getting to the gym, just tell yourself, I'm going to go. I'm just going to do whatever I can do and then leave. And you're more motivated to go versus if you tell yourself, I've got to go, I've got to spend an hour, I've got to do this, I got to sweat, you're going to talk yourself out of it and say, I really don't want to go. I have other things I have to do. Just get in the car and go to the gym. Or if you're like me, it's close by, just walk to the gym. My biggest motivation for weight training is sarcopenia, which is the loss of muscle. And that happens as we get older anyway, if you don't weight train or do resistance training. And if you're taking Ozempic, it happens even faster because you're usually eating less and you're losing weight, and you tend to lose a lot of lean mass unless you start to do some sort of weight training. So that's my motivation for getting into the gym, is trying to at least keep the muscle that I have, gain if I can to help keep me stronger, and keep my bones supported as I go through my senior years and beyond. Because let's face it, I want to be able to stay strong and do things like travel. All right, so I thought I'd give you a little update on how things are going, and I'm doing my makeup at the same time. When the doctor first put me on the Ozempic, because I had such a bad time with the metformin, they kept me on, instead of the standard 4 weeks, they kept me on that very low dose for 6 weeks, which, I'm glad they did that because I didn't know how I was going to react. And quite honestly, I felt nothing at all. I didn't even know I had taken Ozempic. So it was a little surprising. As far as curbing my appetite, like a lot of people say, I may have had some slight curbing, but again, I was on that really low dose. I wasn't expected to really have any sort of, appetite suppression or anything from that. However, the first thing I did notice was after that first week of being on Ozempic, my blood sugars did drop down. So that was very encouraging for me. And that's kind of really what's keeping me on that, is I've seen that. Now, as far as my diet goes, I'm a pretty healthy eater. As many of you know, that I do have my own garden and I eat pretty healthy. Do I have my occasional treats? Absolutely. I mean, life is going to have that sometimes. And I don't indulge a lot, but I do indulge sometimes. And I try to keep that under control, and especially not eat it at night. That's one thing that I've noticed has made a big difference, is not having those things at night, like sweets or anything. Matter of fact, even if I have fruit at night, my blood sugar will jump up in the morning, and I really have to be careful about that, because that's the one thing markers that they're watching, is how the insulin resistance really shows up in the morning. When you have cortisol starting to rise, it signals to your liver, hey, you better put some sugar in this girl's blood because she's getting ready to start her day and needs a way to be able to do that. All of us do it. Everyone does it. But people who are insulin resistant, like me, what happens is all of that cortisol comes out, which also helps you retain fat. And then my cells don't listen to the insulin, because for a variety of reasons, which I'm not going to get into in this video, but I am going to make a video about that, because I think it's important to understand why that kind of thing happens. So one of the things I have learned to do is remove artificial sweeteners, certain ones especially, out of my diet, because those things ruin your gut microbiome, and they also end up, you're basically trying to trick your body into saying, hey, I'm going to give you something sweet. And then when insulin gets pumped into your system because your tongue tasted something sweet, all of a sudden it's like, hey, you're giving me this fake stuff and I don't want it. And your cells are like, I'm not taking that in. So it's my personal opinion that, artificial sweeteners are a bad thing. So I'm taking pretty much all of those out of my diet except for one, and I'll go over that in another video. The other thing I talked about was the weightlifting, being able to get some resistance training in to try to at least retain the muscle I have, maybe build if I can, is because I need now to eat more protein. I need to have more protein at my meals. And because I do now notice, since they upped my dose 2 weeks ago, they upped me to the next level, I do notice a little bit of appetite suppression now, where I'm starting to feel like as soon as I start eating, after about 10 minutes, I'm full. And it's not a weird sick feeling full. It's kind of that full, like, oh, um, I just felt a little bit like I just didn't want to eat another bite, I guess is what it was. And it was just, no, I'm full. I don't really know how to explain it. How sometimes you eat and you're over full. It wasn't that kind of feeling. It was like, hey, I just don't feel like I want any more food in my mouth. And that's what a GLP-1 does. It's a basically some sort of enzyme that lets your body know, hey, you've had enough food, you don't need any more. So I may have to change my eating style, which was for me, I was doing intermittent fasting and maybe eating only 2 meals a day, or I might have to go to 3 meals because I'm eating smaller amounts. So in order for me to get enough protein in my diet, I am starting to break my meals up into 3 meals a day within that certain eating window, and then not intermittent fasting as long. So I kind of listen to my body every day. It kind of depends. There's some days I'll wake up and I'll be hungry and I'll be like, I need to eat. And there are other days I'll wake up and I'm like, yeah, I'm not hungry at all. I really don't want to eat anything right away. But when it does come time for me to eat, I will eat lunch and, something, and make sure that the first thing that I eat is protein. That's the first thing I kind of get down. I don't want to fill up on a bunch of low calorie vegetables or something like that. And then I'm like, oh, I'm full. So if I'm going to eat something, I'll eat my protein first, then followed by my vegetables, and then ending it with some sort of carbohydrate if I have any sort of rice or bread or anything like that. I just find that works best for me. And it, might work different for everybody, but that's kind of what works best for me. Kind of hard to do my eyebrows and look out there and I can't see, but I don't want this in my face. So just trying to get a little frame there on my face. So that's how it's working for me. Now I did look up and it said that some things like Ozempic take a while for it to kind of build up in the system and become totally effective. And since I just went up to the 0.5 milligrams 2 weeks ago, I just had my third shot this morning. I'm anxious to see what that does, if it does anything at all. So we'll see how that happens. I think that again, if you tend to overeat, that's going to spike your blood sugar more because you're just putting much more food in your system, and your system's like, I can't handle it, and it's going to store it as fat. So I think if you are going to, for me, if I'm going to eat smaller meals per day, I'm going to have them still be high protein, moderate fat, and I had to stop talking there for a minute because I can't do my lips and talk. It doesn't work. Regarding the constipation and stuff like that, the first couple of weeks, it was, I got a little constipated, but then it seemed to even itself out and I'm back to having a bowel movement every day. And as long as I'm eating some vegetables and fruit, it's pretty normal. But if I don't have that in there, I will get a little constipated. Now I found that I've kind of gone into this balance where it's once a day, everything's pretty normal. I still want to make sure I eat fruit. So I eat fruit at every meal, one piece of fruit at every meal. It just seems to satisfy that sweet craving, give me some fiber and a little bit of carbohydrates. And of course, I try to take a walk after every single meal to try to bring that blood sugar down right after the meal. And those are working. Now it's going to be here a few more months, I think, before I actually go in and get some more blood work to actually see, is my A1C lowering? How are my other blood markers showing up? But I'm hopeful that it will be something that is working for me. And because if it doesn't, I don't know what else they're going to do to help me get this blood sugar down. Because like I said, most of the time I am working out and eating pretty healthy, but yeah, I just wanted to have this one extra kick. As far as weight loss, I have lost 10 pounds and I have been traveling a lot. I have probably flown 8 or 10 times in the last 8 weeks, been all over the place. And so I do find that I am slowly losing weight. Like I said, it's just like a little over a pound a week, which I'm fine with. And I do weigh myself just to monitor. And other than that, I'm not trying anything real special. Like I'm not working out anymore. I haven't really cut back too much on what I've eaten that I know of, but I'm not counting my calories or anything like that. So I feel really good on it. I know some people say they didn't feel good. They had nausea. They had all these problems. I feel like nothing. Like I literally, other than a little bit of, having a little bit less appetite when I eat, I feel nothing. I feel really good on it. So I'm hoping this works because it's something I can actually stay on versus metformin made me really, really sick. Well, guys, sorry that took so long to get this video out and let you know the update. I will keep you updated occasionally with what's going on with this. If I find that other markers are showing up kind of weird when I get my blood work, I'll bring that to you. But for those of you who are thinking of starting Ozempic for blood sugar control or weight loss, I do think it's worth talking to your doctor about. Are there side effects that people out there are saying, you can go blind and all these? Every drug has some sort of side effect, and you have to weigh that with what that does for you in now to keep you healthy versus the small percentage of people that might have something. Does it mean something will go wrong for you? I don't know. Everyone's different. But for me, so far, it's working, and I'm planning on staying on it at least until I can keep my blood sugar stabilized. Then I'd like to come off, see if I can stay off of it. But if not, is this something I'd be on the rest of my life? I don't know. And I don't know what the real long-term effects of that are, but I need to get that in control now because high blood sugar is going to lead to things that aren't going to let me live very long anyway. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have some sort of experience with semaglutide or GLP-1 that you're taking, can you leave it in the comments and let all of us know? You don't have to tell us what you're taking necessarily, but I think it's a great way for this community to open up and talk about this because as we hit menopause, gosh, I know so many women who are struggling. We do the right things. We exercise, we eat right. We're still having high blood sugars, high weight gain. It's frustrating at this age. So if you can find something that works, I think give it a try and see if you can at least get something to stabilize and help you with your health. So leave me something in the comment. Let me know what you think. And if you've had a bad experience, let us know that too, because I think we all need to know those types of things. And we need to have an open discussion about these types of things. And that's what this channel is about, is having an open discussion about things that affect women, especially as we're going into the menopause and later years. So thanks for watching. And remember to juice life, drink the joy, keep life simple. Keep health as your #1 priority because everything else will follow. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.